episode, we'll be installing the Throttle Punks crash guards. In the kit is a set of crash guards for the right and left side of the bike, crossbar that we won't be using, and I'll explain why here in a minute, and a bag of bolts. I'm excited about this product, so let's get into it. All right, for the installation of this product, you're going to need a 13 millimeter socket. I got both short and long. I also got a 13 millimeter wrench, just in case there's some pretty tight spaces we're going to have to work with. And then a 6 millimeter Allen wrench. Again, I got out a socket and the T-handle. So we'll see what works best. There are no instructions provided with this product for the installation. But it seems pretty straightforward, so let's go through it. Okay, just mocking up the crash bars to see how they're going to work. The top bit goes in the same spot as the stock one through this hole. It takes kind of a twist to get it mocked up. There you go. And everything will line up. You notice down here we're still using the stock mount as well as up here. Okay, with both sides mocked up, I'm going to show you why the crossbar piece is not going to be used with this product. If you're running a stock crash guard, you can use this crossbar, but when you're running their product, it's supposed to mount between these two mounting points, but the skid plate blocks its ability to be mounted. And just going through the number of bolts necessary to put the crash guards on, I found that there is not enough bolts that come with the kit. So you're going to have to reuse some stock bolts. So keep that in mind. Don't throw them out. So the first step that I decided on, because there are no instructions, is to hang the crash guards by the stock bolts up here. All right, from this view, you can see that we have one of the bolts installed on the right side of the bike. And the other one is over there on the far edge of the screen on the left side of the bike. Both are installed loosely. So after a game of hide and seek with different spare bolts and nuts that I have, I was able to put together enough to complete this kit. So stock bolt here, stock bolt here. The two shorter provided bolts, nuts, and washers will connect up here to connect these two together. And then you need to have a bolt and washers and nuts to connect down here. The reason that you need to find your own is because the stock one bolts back into the crash bar, where these ones do not. So all the bolts are started. First, I started this bolt to get it to hang in place. Second, I started this bolt in order to kind of secure the location. Third, I worked on these bolts. The lower ones are difficult because with their skid plate, Throttle Punks, it makes a very small space to work in. And lastly, I connected the two. They're all loose, so we'll go through and tighten them all up. It's important to note that The angle and space for, at least on the left side here, for the lower bolt are that which the T-handle can't fit in properly, either direction. The ratchet's not going to work. The space is not big enough, so you have to go with the just regular old L-shaped Allen wrench and an open head wrench in order to tighten this up. Okay, so after some work on this, I figured, for me at least, the best way to tighten this up is to go from this bolt, top back, to the front, to the bottom, and then tighten the middle. It seems to bring the pieces together in a more appropriate way, easier to work with, as opposed to just starting in the same pattern that I initially mounted them with, which was here first, there second, bottom third, and then the middle. So just switching the first two really is what it is. So first, second, third, and then in the middle, fourth. So I was hoping that these bolts would be able to be tightened on this side using a ratchet. The other side I figured might have been because I'd laid the bike down before. That's not the case. This whole area is too tight from point A to point B. The crash bar itself blocks access to it. If it were angled slightly lower, it would work, but it's not, so here we are. Now that that's tight, we can move to the front, tighten up this bolt right here. This is the space that we're going to be working in down here. This is why we're going to use an open head wrench. You can use the Allen wrench over here, the L shape, because that's the only thing that's going to fit, and work together to tighten these two bolts up. We're going to go ahead and tighten this up. So here, thankfully, we can use a ratchet. And once you're done tightening the bolts, you can see it lines up perfectly. Okay, so we've completed the installation of the crash bars. On a 10 scale, how easy was it? With 1 being the absolute easiest thing you could do. These are probably a 2, maybe a 3, probably a 2. How much of an improvement are these crash bars over stock? 10. It's insane, the difference in quality, the structural integrity. I think is fantastic. Would have been, maybe I should change that. I will say it's a 9. Had we been able to install this bar, then it would have been a 10. I think this would have created the structural integrity that I was looking for, I was hoping for when buying this product. The weak point of all these crash bars is that bottom bracket. So I don't like that it connects to the engine without any crossbar support. This crossbar that we couldn't use would have added the support that's missing. So good product, well built. Was it well thought out? I think so. I think that it was independently thought out, not considering their own skid plate. Had they thought through these two products together and made them completely work together with this crossbar, it would have been a 10 out of 10. Both products. So, could be some improvements, but no product's perfect. And thanks for watching.